How is this country going to be able to understand another culture or another country that thinks in 100-year terms? We are lucky if in this country people can have an 8-year plan when a president gets elected for the first time and assumes that he will get re-elected. So how does America deal with this?
Well, what I'm really trying to do is put the issue of China and the narrative of our relations with China on the presidential election debate agenda for 2016. China was not much of an issue in 2012. Mitt Romney has a chapter on China in his book, No Apology. And Romney brings up we need to be more competitive with China. But there's not really much of a debate. And what I'd like to see in 2016 is our media, who would really dominate the issues. If they're going to ask, if everybody knows, if Gwen Ifill and Judy Woodruff and Jim Lehrer and Fox News are going to raise a topic in the presidential debate, we better be ready. So if the media starts saying, well, what's this all about? Is China really doing these things to us? And are we sort of naive and gullible? We'll get our presidential candidates to become engaged with the topic. So far, only 2 have really talked about it. Elizabeth Warren has a comment online in one of her speeches where Elizabeth Warren is talking about losing jobs, the middle class, and how China invests deeply in infrastructure. And she gives a percentage of GDP. So she's kind of admiring the Chinese model, that if only America could be like that. In fact, that's the title of a book by Tom Friedman, which is quite good. I think the title is roughly, We Used to Be Like That. There's a similar book by Richard Haass, the Council on Foreign Relations president, called Foreign Policy Begins at Home. Big section on China, competing with China. So the idea is there, but it's not yet a presidential issue because there's so much complacency. Because the narrative in the media today is China's going to collapse. It's very backward. They're kind of stupid. We can look down on them. But besides, we opened up China. We're the ones responsible for all their growth. That narrative is all wrong, in my view. And I try to show with the new evidence in this book, I try to show if it's a different narrative, that China is really outfoxing us, I think that's a presidential candidate kind of question. And that would be the Pillsbury dream, as Gwen Ifill or Bill O'Reilly asks all the candidates, well, gee, what about this book, The 100-Year Marathon? You know, have you read that? And the candidate says, well, no, what book is that? And then we're off and running.
So we've had the American dream, we've discussed the China dream, and now we're talking about the Pillsbury dream.